Hey everyone, Rob, Sigma 3 Survival School, and today I want to talk about kind of a variation that you can add to a lot of the different traps that we showed you before. And this is essentially just creating crossbars that your snare is going to funnel through. And you can use a lot of different trigger systems for this, but one of the reasons I like to use this type of system is it is almost like the way a long rat trap, which we showed you in the previous video, is that it prevents chew outs. Because the funnel or the snare is funneled through these crossbars, the animal will be slammed up under the bottom of these, and he won't be able to, reach his neck around in order to chew that out. So, you can use any of the trigger systems I showed you previously, and I am going to show you a new trigger system with this particular setup. But it's also important that if you do use this setup that you have some type of bait pen. And you'll notice I just take some stakes here, drive them into the ground, or you can use a hollow log. Instead of having trees like we've done here, you can pound large stakes into the ground and make crossbars on those. A lot of different ways you can set this up. So hang tight and I'll show you this new trigger system and how you can make it effective for you. Alright, so all we need for this trap trigger is just nothing more than a stick that we carve a little notch in to seat our rope on. And just with like all of our previous snares, we tie a little loop so that we can connect our snare off of that. And there's two ways of setting this up. You can set it up with just a angled stick like this, where it's basically a stake where you left a branch off to one side. Or you can take two sticks, tie them off together, and, bang them in with your axe at both angles. Alright, so all we're going to do is take our toggle and jam it under the crook there. And this is our bait stick. And you want your bait stick to be lightweight. And we're going to physically either tie our bait onto this or split the stick and jam it in. The way you gauge your sensitivity for this trap is the lower the trigger is to the base down here at the tip, the more sensitive it's going to be. But you need to make it to where it's not so sensitive that the weight of the bait is going to end up tipping the bait stick forward. Alright, so now we're putting our split sticks in. Basically sharpened stick, split at the end in order to set our snare. Move along. And then we're going to prop our snare up on those two. Alright, so now we've got our split sticks. You just want to lightly set those in. And then push it across to the other side. And you notice how I placed a log here in the front. And that's for a few different reasons. One, we want the animal to kind of crawl up in and then come back down when he's trying to get the bait stick here. And that'll have a little bit higher likelihood of us actually getting him in the snare. Alright. And your snare placement is very important. So, animal's going to come in, it's going to see the bait, which will be speared here at the tip. It's going to lever this down, and you always want to adjust your sensitivity before walking away. That's just barely on there right now. Animal's going to come in. And then it's going to slam him up against this. And this is one of those spring pole that you would want to be extra heavy duty. You want it to really slam him hard against this and physically choke him out so that it's not a live game hold. You come back and the animal's dead. Alright, so we'll set it one more time so that you guys get it. Remember to adjust your sensitivity. Place your snare. When the animal comes through, he can either pull or push down, and it slams him up against the crossbars. Alright, so that's our crossbar variation on the different snares that you can set up. Like I said, you can use that same setup on almost any of the trigger systems that we showed you before that are based on whether it's a treadle or you know, the improved reverse figure 4. There's a lot of different options out there. That was just another trigger system that's very simple. I mean, that trigger system doesn't take any time at all to set up. You'll spend more time setting up the crossbars than you will, you know, finding a large stake. And your stake needs to be fairly long. It needs to be a straight stick that's, you know, maybe 24 to 36 inches long, and then have a branch off to one side. And all you need is a little bit toggle. So make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the trapping series. We've got a lot of videos coming up. Now, these videos aren't necessarily going to cover every single thing that we cover in our survival trapping course. That would, I mean, I could show you just a ton of different tips and tricks, but we can't get it all here in these videos. So, you know, if you've got an interest in learning these skills hands-on, then come on out to a course. The description's in the link below. Make sure you check out our website, and as always, share, like, and subscribe. Thanks, and have a great day.